Hello, and welcome to the Islandora on Docker demo. This demo will show how using Docker with the Islandora stack can greatly reduce the complexity and time involved for testing, whether it is during the upgradation process or development in general. Please note that the pre-built Docker images for this demo use the same versions of MySQL, Apache, Drupal, the Islandora module, and associated dependencies. Prior to getting into the upgrade process, I'd like to first show a previously ingested sample collection as well as version numbers. So here we have a completely generic Drupal site with no attempt at theming. I'd also like to show you that the versions on this older version of Islandora stack is 4.2 for Solar, 3.71 for Fedora, and 2.7 for Fedora G-Search. So I'm going to log into the site and navigate to a test collection that we've ingested previously. Here's our test collection. And this is a mixed collection of sample images and PDFs as created by the Islandora sample content generator. Thank you, Mark Jordan. And I'm going to edit one of these objects. Going to make an edit to both the mods record for the title and for a description. Just change some of the wording around and express my admiration for Vancouver. And as you can see, the change is made instantaneously and it is reflected appropriately in the metadata. Okay, so now I'm going to shut down the current old system and spin up the new containers. While we're waiting for that to finish, I'm going to rename the Docker Compose file so that we can spin up new containers. I'd like to point out that both sets of containers, both new and old, point to the same data storage areas. So that means that MySQL, Fedora, and web content will all be the same despite a change in environment. Okay, now I'm going to spin up the new containers. And now I'm going to start the reindex process. I'm going to first access the new Islandora Fedora container. I'm going to have to shut down the Tomcat service to do that, and I'm going to have to employ a somewhat unorthodox method in doing so because there are challenges with using service calls and initd functions in Docker images. Typically, this process would shut down a container because it would be killing the only main service of it, so I don't always recommend this. Okay, let's re-index the Fedora resource index. All right, I'd like to check if that process worked. And indeed, 79 objects rebuilt. Now I'm going to start with the MySQL index by truncating all of the tables. I'd also like to check if that process worked. And indeed, again, all objects built. I'm going to restart the Tomcat service so that we can move on to the Solr reindex. This is going to give me a false positive. In essence, it's going to indicate that the service failed, which it did not. This is again one of the issues with using service calls in Docker. As you can see, it's clearly running and ready. I'm now going to destroy any previous Solr indices, just to be safe. And now I'm going to perform the Solr reindex. Okay, now that that's done, let's check the site. Here's our test object. And upon refresh, it's still there and reflecting correct metadata. We can do a quick search. And indeed, the object is displayed. And now I'll quickly show you the version changes in Solr. It went from 4.2 to 4.6.1. Fedora has changed from 3.7.1 to 3.8.1. And Fedora gsearch has changed from 2.7 to 2.7.1.